Once upon a time, a security officer was on his way home. It was a dank, wet, windy evening. He'd finished his shift, he was tired. He just got to the bus stop and he was standing there in the rain waiting for his bus. At approximately 9 p.m. he was leaving his place of work, Gatwick, the UK's second biggest airport, or second busiest airport. And that's when he saw these lights in the sky and he thought, lights in the sky, in the rain and wind, it can only be a drone. So he immediately called the airport control tower to report a breach of security. And soon afterwards, the main runway was closed to air traffic. This is a story of Gatwick, the drone, the myth, the urban legend. And hopefully, already any drone flyer will have realised why there was never a drone at Gatwick. That is the first part to this. And at that point there, clearly you can see why, or hear why, there was never a drone. So it was quite interesting. Now, in terms of Gatwick drone sightings, the Department for Trade holds records of, so this is what the DFT holds records of. The first sightings were reported at 2100 on December the 19th, which is the security officer on his way home reporting it. And then there were clusters of sightings reported approximately hourly through the night until around 9 AM on the morning of the 20th, 2018. So all night, lights in the sky get reported as drones. Bearing in mind, no drone that you buy off the shelf today typically can fly for very long, and they're not waterproof or anything else. Then there were further sightings reported at 14:30, 19:45 and 22:30 during 20th of December 2018. Now this is where it gets interesting, because on the 20th of December, Gatwick had called in some counter-UAS systems. Okay, literally a couple showed up. So we got one arrive at 2:40 on the 20th of December, and another one was in place by 9 p.m. So there's now two systems there. By 9 p.m. there were two systems, when visual sightings were still being reported. Now, I actually know one of the systems that was there. I know Skyperion from Metis Aerospace. That system works. It can see the controller and it can see the aircraft, typically. Okay, I get that, I know that. So it makes you wonder about the three sightings on the 20th of December. Now, there was a reporter, Eddie Mitchell, who took this photograph of some lights in the sky. He phoned up his newspaper and says, I've got the money shot, I've got the drone shot. He also phoned Gatwick and says, I've seen the drone, I've got the photo of it, and I've seen it, click. Now, this was before Eddie got to his computer. He got to his computer, put in his SD card, got on, started looking at the image, zoomed in, and it was the police helicopter that was searching for the drone as well. Now, if Eddie, with a zoom camera, had made that mistake, how many others were making the same mistake? And this is the actual image of Eddie's Twitter. Okay, it's beyond credible that not one single clear photograph or video of the intruder or drone or whatever it was, with all these press out there trying to get photos of it, they want the money shot, because if they get that photograph, it's worth a small little bomb to them. They don't sit around for a day, trust me, they won't spend a day looking for something for that shot if it's not going to be worth something, okay? And it's not credible that they couldn't get the shot. Now Sussex Police try saying, oh, the drone moved too fast between the buildings. Bullshit! Okay, that's probably where you've got a light in the background, say on a crane or a helicopter, just saying. And as you walk around the thing, you'll see it move, and it'll look like it's moving to you. Even on a crane, because of parallax effect, all you've got to do is move about 40 or 50 metres, and it'll look like it's completely somewhere else. So, it's a bit of a rant time. So it's amazing, but yeah, Gatwick has forever more tarnished drone users and been used now overseas. So other national aviation authorities are using this to bring in drone rules, and they're not bringing them in logically. They're not looking at the logic at all. They're just going, yeah, we just need more rules. We'll use Gatwick as the excuse, and if we say that, we'll be all right, because we can justify anything from a flashing light in the sky, because that's all they have. A light in the sky. That's it. There's nothing to say that it was anything more. And now, depending on what bus stop it was, and this is where it gets really interesting. So, if he was stood at Gatwick's near the car park and he was looking out, those lights that look to be hovering could actually be a plane on approach. And I'm not kidding. If you look at things and you look, and depending how you're stood and the angle the plane's coming in at, literally it could look like it's a plane landing in wet weather. Remember, it's wet and windy. You've got water. It distorts things. Gatwick, any company that's promoting Gatwick on their website as we can do this, do that, stop Gatwick from happening, you can't. You can't stop someone picking up a phone and saying, oh, I can see a light in the sky, it's a drone. You can't stop that. We have legislation now around drones that have never, in the UK, killed anyone yet. A multi-rotor has not yet killed anyone. A multi-rotor yet has not brought down an airliner. A multi-rotor yet has not brought down a Cessna. Now, don't get me wrong, right? At some point there may be a major incident, and it could happen. You know, the chances of trying to get a drone in the right place to bring an aircraft out of the sky like an airliner, you've got bugger all chance. You know, as soon as that plane's trundling down the runway and it's doing 180 miles an hour, okay, not even a little racing drone goes that fast. But then trying to get in the right point, so when the plane pulls up, you're in the right place to go in the engine. You would have to be the best pilots that I've ever met. Because as soon as a plane pulls its nose up and starts to climb, that plane, its ascent rate is beyond any drone. Just beyond. You know, that plane is going for it when they climb. If you've been on an airliner, you know what I mean. So yeah, it's interesting. What's really interesting, and this is one of the things that I sometimes I kind of struggle with. We have so much now about drones, and you know they could bring down an airliner and everything else. Yet we have so many rules around the drones. But let's take an e-scooter. An e-scooter is something, okay, that you can get by. It's electric. You step on it, and off you go. Now in the UK, they're banned off public roads unless you're in a trial. Our government, right, can't seem to grasp. All they need to do is bring in a scooter licence, an electric scooter licence, for anything that does more than, say, 15 miles an hour. So you can do up to 15 miles an hour, say, use it on cycle paths. You bring in a little licence for it. You have to put this on your little e-scooter, get insurance, and that'll be it. Nice one, and pass a test. You know, you've got to pass a cycling proficiency test, basic moped test, because it's an electric vehicle. It does move, and they're highly illegal in the UK. But you can ride these things in London, and you won't get pulled up by a copper. Okay, people have been killed on these things. People have died, but a drone is seen as the bigger issue. Don't know why. It's just the fear mongering we've had from organisations like Balpa and others. You know, there's lots of them, and it's just the fear mongering. It just has to stop. And I think it's going to stop because they're going to want drone deliveries. We want air taxis, we want this and we want that. We want 25 kilo drones flying over our buildings. Well, no we don't. No thanks. I don't want it delivering to my garden because it's pointless. But what do I know? You know, long distance delivery, Isle of Wight, Isle of Mull, all that kind of stuff, perfect for a drone. In a city, not worth it. I'm going on a rant somewhere. But sadly, Gatwick, you know, I'd like to apologise to everyone that's affected by the Gatwick BS and all the crap around it, all the rubbish around it. If your National Aviation Authority has quoted Gatwick to bring in more drone rules, I would just like to apologise to the rest of the world. I don't know why, as a UK drone user. I'm sorry that common sense, by lack of, from Gatwick, lack of from Sussex Police, led us down this horrible shite fest of BS that you've ever seen. Links going in the description. David Clarke, Urban Myth and Legends, got a great article on it. We've got the Guardian one, that's going in the description below. Thanks to Ian Hudson for all his Freedom of Information Acts requests. You know, and what do they know? I'll put some links to some stuff for you all to read up on. It's amazing the amount of BS out there. The fact that Gatwick cost 50 odd million, disrupted 140,000 plus people trying to go on their holiday. The people that really should be investigated. It's not the people. It's not the drone shouldn't be investigated. Not that side of it at all. How it was all mismanaged should be looked at. All that is the problem now, and hopefully a few places will have learnt a few things. But yeah, Gatwick, it's looking like it's more and more likely it was an outside issue such as ransomware, and that's the only reason why the planes couldn't work. Ransomware, outside interference with the ATC. It certainly was not a drone. Right, bit of waffling now, I'm afraid. Bit of a ransomware. Safe flying, guys. And remember, that light in the sky, it might not be a drone. Yes, that's right, by the way, before I go. Just remember, everyone, if you see a light in the sky, it doesn't mean it's a drone. Okay, it could be a crane, could be a helicopter, could be a plane, could be a crane. It could be anything. Doesn't mean it's a drone because it's a light in the sky. Later.